So I have a lot of messages, as you can imagine, and I had a message of someone who was really sad, telling me that in this moment, with what is going on, being at home, she was thinking a lot about what she should have done in her life and not done right, and she told me she is full of regrets and suffering a lot because of the mistakes she did. So this is something that comes often, and that I would love really to give you my point of view about that thing, because for me there are no mistakes, there are experiences, and from these experiences we learn and we have choices after, or we repeat the experiences until we decide that it's not convenient and we want to change. But the fact to repeat them is also part of the process to be able to make the change. And it's the same for individuals or at the collective, what is going on now. We've been at a point of no return for the planet, and now to be at home with ourselves, if we do the work in a positive way on ourselves, this is going to have an effect on the whole planet. It can seem like utopic, but it's very simple. In fact, if you see each individual like a cell of our body, and when the cells of our body are healthy and flowing very well, in between them everything is like aligned and able to really face what is coming in a positive way. So we can, each of us, do this work on ourselves. It's not easy. It took me almost all my life, sure, and I've not finished, because we always are working, because in fact we can say it's working, but it's not a work. In fact, it's life. It's life itself. It's just living on this planet with these experiences. It's just that. So we make choices in our lives, and we can think it's mistakes. Me, I observe a lot, and for me, every time I did something that could be taken like a mistake, I realized that it was exactly the thing I needed to change something, to evolve, to discover something. I'm going to give you a small example. It was many years I was living in Paris, and with my ex-husband, and I told him we have to quit the city, we have to go on the countryside, on a beach somewhere, we have to leave Paris, we have to leave cities, because there's going to be a big trouble in the coming years. So I was, some months before that, I was in South Africa to work as model with an agency, modeling agency, and I really enjoyed my time in Cape Town. I was living on a beach in Bantry Bay. It was fantastic. I loved my time there. So when I came back, my husband came to visit in vacation, and when I came back, we decided that we may live in South Africa. So we took a flying ticket for 9 months to stay there, and in fact, at that time, it was no internet, it was no email or nothing. It was just by writing or by phone. So we took the flying ticket, and it was time to go. And I had the idea to write to another agency than the one who sponsored me the first time, because I found they were well organized and I wanted to work with them. So I wrote them and I said, I would love you to consider if I can work with you for the next season, and blah, 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 blah. And when I went to put the letter in the mailbox, something inside was like, oh, what you have done. So I put the letter, and immediately it was like I did something wrong. And it was like burning inside. So I was with that, and time passed, and it was almost the time to go there for October, for the season. And I received a letter from the agency telling me, we love you very much, but at your age we cannot have a lot of work for you, so we have only 15 models we can take, so we cannot work with you because, you know, sure, it will not be a lot of work for them, and they have to have models working all the time. So I was like disappointed, and I thought, okay, no problem, I'm going to contact the other agency I was the first time. And I contacted them, and I called them, and they say, you know, we will not renew your visa because we don't appreciate what you did. Well, I knew it, but you know, it was like, but I didn't know what. So, in fact, one of the person working in one agency was partner with another one working in the other agency, and they spoke about that. So the agency who sponsored me the first time was not happy at all with my way to behave. And me, I was not feeling guilty about that. It was just, we can choose with what agency we can go. It's not, you know, something, a contract for life. So I was like, okay, what we gonna do with our 9 months ticket for South Africa? So immediately I saw that it was impossible to work in South Africa. I knew since many years that I was expected to work in New York because Ford Model Agency wanted to work with me, but me, I didn't want to be in New York because I didn't want to be in a big city, and I didn't want to be in a place where it's cold like that in winter and so hot in summer. So when I saw the door was not open to New York, to South Africa, I said, okay, I cannot stay. We cannot stay in Paris anymore. We go in New York. So I called the agency, and they prepare my visa in 3 weeks. So to not lose the ticket to South Africa, we went in vacation for 1 month and a half there. October, it was end of October to end of September to beginning of November. And just after, as I got my visa, I left for New York, and my life changed totally. I thought I will stay for some months to see how it was, like I wanted to do in South Africa, but in fact, no. And in fact, it was not a mistake. It was, for me, I see this differently. I see that the higher self, our guide inside, our inner guide, sometimes take the control and make us do things that we say, oh, why have done that? Oh, this is so stupid, or this. And no, in fact, it was what was right. I think it was really now with the time I say, wow, yeah, this makes much more sense to be in New York than in Cape Town. I worked much more in New York. I had the experience of New York City for 8 years. And all this because I posted this letter instead of staying with my other agent and stay in Cape Town eventually. And my life changed. Our life changed, and we've been in New York for 8 years. So you see, try when you have the feeling you did a mistake, to don't see it as a mistake, to have in mind that your little, you know, higher self sometimes is like playing games, and because he knows the path and the journey that our soul want to have. So sometimes we have to let go of that. I had a lot of experience like this, and sometimes I smile and say, oh, again you did it, you know, like you took control. And so sometimes I think, oh, it's because I'm not present, or it's because, no, Every time it falls perfectly on the perfect things, and the things that are coming after are like amazing. So try maybe, instead of seeing mistakes, to see how the situation you created make changes. Because also we have to have in mind that when we are involved in a situation with someone else, it's 50-50. It's like a game that is played at the unconscious level. It's not one that is all right, the other one that is wrong, because there is no right and wrong. They are just things they are complementing at a moment to make evolve for everybody the way to live, the way to be, the way to see, the way to think. And it's just by our relations that we can see that. We can also have in mind that often what we project on others, reproaching on others, it's something that we are unable to see for ourselves, that can be in another field than the one we criticize or we reproach to the person, but it's something very often, almost all the time, we have a benefit to look what in me, in myself, is in the same idea, same thing that I'm reproaching to that person. Because back of that, there are strings that are pulling. We reproach some things, and sometimes it's because we have a lack of attention, or we had a lack of attention when we were a child, and we are always looking in a way to be recognized, to be validated, to have attention. And we can reproach to someone, no, you have not done that, or you have done that. But in fact, it's because we expect something. And this something, sometimes it's not from right now, it's something old that is pulling. So the only way to be able to don't be acted, to don't be like a toy for this phenomenon, it's to observe, to take distance, to observe, and to see how repetition are coming, and what we want to get from what we want the other changing in a way. Because in reproaching that or that or that, this means that the person is not right. And the person maybe is in her own right. And maybe what he's reproaching is right, there is something, but maybe it's not 100% right, and often it's 50-50. So try to see, to take, in fact it's taking responsibility about how we project. And we are not aware sometimes, or very often, that we project. Some people don't know even what it is. It took me years to understand the phenomenon, because I was not understanding anything at all about that. And now, since many years, when there is something in someone that is bothering me, immediately I say, what is like that in me? What do I don't like in me that I see there that bother me? What, and this is a very good way to develop yourself, to open your consciousness, to be, in fact, to give a better, we are perfectible. It's not that we are not perfect. We are perfect as human beings as we are, because it's a fantastic, amazing tool. This body is like, wow. But at the spiritual level, we want perfections, because we come from a dimension, the divine, that is beauty and perfection there. And when it goes down in the material world, it's more difficult. The vibration is lower than the vibration of the spiritual level. So it's very difficult that these things, what we want to bring down from the divine, be really adequate in the material level. It takes time. it's also by the material that we can expand our consciousness and our awareness and be more and more in touch with our soul. It goes in both ways. It comes always to my mind this sentence that is, let me find in English, what is above, what is below is like what is above, and vice versa. And it's what we do. We do this work permanently with our soul, our mind, connect to our spirit, and to be able to, by the body, to make this work, especially when we have pain or when we have trouble in the body, it obliges us to pause, like what is going on now. There is this pause, and at a point when we are not aligned anymore, individually or collectively, there is a need of the pause. The vibration we have is not adequate with nature. And at that time, things stop. We found a way, like it is, to stop, to find a new alignment, to develop new ways to see and to live and to behave and to think and to create. And this is what is going on right now. I have a lot of people who are like quite happy to be at home and telling me how it's fantastic. I never had this time like that where I don't have to put the alarm to wake up and to run all the day, and it's really great. I don't want to go back to what it was before. I can understand very well, because my life always been almost like that, unless when I had kids when I was younger. But being a model, you don't have certainty of work. You never know when you're going to work. So you are always vacant. Vacation is that. It's being vacant for the next job. So being like that, sometimes you don't have work and even contact for work for weeks and months. You have to be really in balance, because if not, you can be under fears and really going down and have a miserable life. So it requires a strength, a force of inner strength to be in touch with that, because, and trust, and a lot of trust in the universe that you will always have what you need, not what you want, but what you need. But you can also have what you want if you work with your mind, and if you have idea how to develop things and do it, even if it seems crazy, because maybe this is the thing that's going to help you to, after, to be able to have what you want. It depends also what you want. You have priorities. What are your priorities? Me, I know mine. So, and I know mine since very long. Because when I was 13, I knew that I will never work in an office. Never, no way. And I was young. How I could know about that? Because I was seeing adults, my aunt and my uncle, going to work every day at the same thing. And me, I was like, no, I don't want that. But I didn't know the shape it will take. And to arrive to that, I had a life with, children very early and busy at home and raising a family, and it did not come in one day like that. So it's that, but the thing that always been with me is to be at home, to be amazed by the miracle of life. And this, when you have this enthusiasm, that means being with God, with the divine, it carries you everywhere and for everything, even when it's very hard down there. Voila, that's it for today. I know people are going to tell me in French it's complicated because there is a thread, and it's very difficult to go back to do a French version. So I will see how I feel, and maybe tomorrow. I wish you a good night, and I hope you like my little fashion show. Bye bye.